The secret of genius is to carry the spirit of the child into old age, which means never losing your enthusiasm. Alexander Huxley. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So the first video is Love versus Fear. It's very, very short and a little intense, but it's well worth playing.
If I take the chemicals released by the brain in love and put it into a plastic dish with cells, the cells grow beautifully. And I say, okay, wait, what about the chemicals that come out of a brain of someone in fear? I take those chemicals, put that in the culture dish, the cells stop growing. When you're in growth, you're open to the world and you say, come on, bring it on. But when fear or something comes in there, you close it down, and the chemistry of the fear is what shuts down the cells. Fear kills. It's not a mystery, it's simple. The mind is an interpretation of the world. It causes the brain to release chemistry that matches the interpretation to coordinate 50 trillion cells to live in that world. It's your emotions, it's your perceptions, it's your beliefs. These are the sources of the chemicals that end up controlling the genes. This is a new science, it's called epigenetics. If I take the chemicals released by the brain in love and put it into a plastic dish with cells, the cells grow beautifully. And I say, okay, wait, what about the chemicals that come out of a brain of someone in fear? I take those chemicals, put that in the culture dish, the cells stop growing. When you're in growth, you're open to the world and you say, come on, bring it on. But when fear or something comes in there, you close it down, and the chemistry of the fear is what shuts down the cells. Fear kills. It's not a mystery, it's simple. The mind is an interpretation of the world. It causes the brain to release chemistry that matches the interpretation to coordinate 50 trillion cells to live in that world. It's your emotions, it's your perceptions, it's your beliefs. These are the sources of the chemicals that end up controlling the genes. This is a new science, it's called epigenetics.
Talk about following the science. Okay. Now there's it's not short, but it's not, really, really long, about 8 minutes. Facing Your Fear. Debbie Russo, I believe this is the one that you sent over.
Beloved children of light, I, Archangel Michael, come to you on this powerful and significant day. Look at your fears, dear ones, for they are very emotions you must embrace, that you must face. Your fears are what are keeping you from your dynamic empowerment, your masterhood. Your fears are what is holding many of you in bondage in the third dimensional reality of limitation and suffering. Once more, let us assure you, you have nothing to fear. Many of you are caught up in the age of cataclysm. You fear that chaos and destruction are on the horizon. You also fear it will not happen, because if it doesn't, how will you know that the new age is really here and that all you have been told is true? You want to believe all the stories of the wondrous times to come, but how can you be sure? Look around you, look within, and become a friend and companion to your fears. Face them head on and affirm that you are going to use this energy to create positive results, not stagnation. Do you fear becoming a master because of the responsibility it will bring? Do you hesitate to accept your creativity and to use your talents because you fear you will be judged and you think your efforts will not be good enough? Do you fear that you become too different and your family and friends will ridicule or reject you? Do you fear that if you step out into the unknown and trust your spirit to support you in manifesting your abundance, you will be impoverished? Do you fear you may become successful and you are not sure how you can handle the responsibility of that success? How will you know, how can you tell, unless you accept the challenge and step out into the unknown, out into uncharted territory? We tell you this: either you move forward and accept the challenge, or your spirit will force you to face whatever issues are more important for your growth. This may mean confronting your worst fears after they have manifested. As surely as you avoid that which is best for your growth, just as surely it will manifest in your reality. It is a time of great awakening, dear ones. Many of you are experiencing tests and trials in your daily lives, but you are not caught up in the negativity. You see these situations for what they truly are, misqualified energy being brought to the surface so it can be transformed back into balance and harmony. You are learning to move through your days in the serene knowledge that all is as it should be, that this too shall pass. You are practicing the art of co-creation, of becoming a self-master. A self-master must serve an apprenticeship. It does not just happen. There are lessons, tests, and challenges, and then finally sweet success as you move from the wheel of karma and into a state of grace. And so we implore you, as spiritual warriors, use your fears for growth, draw on the strength of your higher self, and wield the sword of power and truth to cut through the bonds of limitation. Do not allow the fear and negativity that is spewing forth from your media, your government, and the mass consciousness to make an impact on your awareness, my precious ones. This is perhaps one of your greatest tests at this time, to stay serene and in loving assurance of who you are, where you are going, and what is being manifested in your world. All because of your bold, dynamic actions and beliefs. We are near to assist you, to lend gentle guidance and encouragement. However, you must reach up and boldly draw forth the empowerment and the perfection of the higher dimensions and claim them as your own. I, Archangel Michael, the legions of light, and the heavenly hosts embrace you. I am Archangel Michael, so be it.
Lao Tzu puts it in this way: the great Tao flows everywhere, both to the left and to the right. It loves and nourishes all things, but does not lord it over them. And when merits are accomplished, it lays no claim to them. The more, therefore, you relinquish power, trust others, the more powerful you become. But in such a way that instead of having to lie awake nights controlling everything, you do it beautifully by trusting the job to everyone else. And they carry it on for you. So you can go to sleep at night and trust your nervous system to wake you up in the morning. You can even tell it, I want to wake up at 6 o'clock, and it'll wake you up just like an alarm clock. This seems a sort of paradox to say this, but the principle of unity, of coming to a sense of oneness with the whole of the rest of the universe, is not to try to obtain power over the rest of the universe. That will only disturb it and antagonize it and make it seem less one with you than ever. The way to become one with the universe is to trust it as another, as you would another, and say, let's see what you're going to do. But in doing that, you see, in saying that to everything else that you have been taught to think is not you, you are also saying it to yourself. Because finally, as I pointed out, you do not know where your decisions come from. So when we decide, we're always worrying, did I think this over long enough? Did I take enough data into consideration? And if you think it through, you find you never could take enough data into consideration. The data for a decision in any given situation is infinite. So what you do is, you go through the motions of thinking out what you will do about this. And then when the time comes to act, you make a snap judgment. I mean, I'm speaking a little extremely, making some fun of it and so on, because after all, we do occasionally get the vague outlines of things and make a right decision on rational grounds. But we fortunately forget the variables that could have interfered with this coming out right. It's amazing how often it works. But warriors are people who think of all the variables beyond their control and what might happen. So then when you make a decision, and it works out all right, I think very little of it has much to do with your conscious intent and control. But somehow or other, you are able to decide and control things more harmoniously if you delegate authority. That's why very great businessmen are those who can delegate authority. Trust others to work for them. Because those are people developing businesses on the same basic structure that is fundamental to a living organism: delegation of authority. It loves and nourishes all things, but does not lord it over them. And you see, then, what is happening is this. The more you let go of it and trust it, as if it were quite other than you, the more you realize the inseparable identity of self and other. to go back. If you try to find the identity of self and other by subjecting other to self, no go. If, on the other hand, you find it through giving self, that is control, over to other and trusting that, you may make a mistake. You may make a bad gamble. But in the long run, you're acting on a principle which has the backing of evolution. This is the way biological evolution goes on. Constant delegation of authority. That's why, obviously, the democracy is superior to the monarchy. It was de Tocqueville who said that democracy is always right, but for the wrong reasons. Because there is operating in a democracy the principle that Buckminster Fuller calls synergy. And synergy is the intelligence of a highly complex system, the nature of which is always unknown to the individual members. Because that goes back again to this point, that we're always entering a new environment. We don't ever know fully what the new environment is, because the only environments we know are the past ones. There is always then operating in the development of cellular life on any level a new way of organization, higher than any existing form. And we are not aware of it until after it's happened. So we do come out of this way of thinking to something which has, I would say, the most enormously creative and revolutionary social consequences. That it has become not virtuous, not self-sacrificing, and not anything like that. It has become the hardest practical politics to let go control to others, to give up trying to dominate the scene. Also, in a parallel way, it has become at this time in our history very much hard practical politics. To learn how to enjoy ourselves. You can go to the Protestant people with their Protestant ethic who are against this kind of thing, and now say to them with great glee, it is your solemn duty to learn how to enjoy yourself. Why? Because in an age of leisure, people have really got to know how to enjoy themselves. Because if they don't, they'll smash the whole future of the human race.
So let me untangle that and make it very simple to understand. Trusting the universe, trusting anyone else is really difficult. It takes years of practice of letting go of the control. Every single person here tries to control their environment so they feel safe, so that we feel that we can fit in somehow in some way to our situation. When I say to you, trust the universe, I'm also saying to you, trust yourself. Trust the people in your life. Start out with those that are easy to trust. Delegate and allow them to help you. Most of you are so used to being the one helping everybody else. Let's switch roles, slow down our life, share the responsibilities, rest, and allow others to help. There's no shame in asking people to help you. There's no reason in the world why you have to take everything on yourself. Have enough faith and trust to involve other people in the workload. This course is for me because I take on everybody's workload wherever I am, because they don't seem to know how to do what needs to be done. And the same is with you. You can see a situation and in 3.5 seconds, you know exactly what needs to be done. You take command, and that's great. However, delegate the components of how to resolve the situation. Most of the time, I say to myself, if I want it done right, do it myself. We all say that. And we've seen it happen because that's our belief that nobody can do it as well as we can. We have to change our mind first and realize it might not be exactly what you want, exactly how you saw it done, but it will be done. And we need to learn to accept that. None of us is irreplaceable at a job or anywhere, because someday we won't be there. It's very simple. When I worked in the 3D world, I would take on everybody's workload because nobody really cared to do their job. I care. And you care. Because we're wired differently. We're givers. And now the universe, of which we're going to have a nice conversation about, really wants us to learn that even though we don't feel safe delegated or trusting others, that the universe has our back. I'm going to share with you something that you may not even have given a thought ever. What exactly is the universe, and how does it serve us? As gods and goddesses, we are putting out into the world our thoughts, our beliefs, our wishes, our dreams, our prayers, and the universe jumps right to it. The universe is very literal. So if you joke around and say something, the universe didn't catch the joke. It goes directly as it was stated and starts manifesting it. So look at the universe as the means of manifestation. And your thoughts, words, and actions are the motivation for creation. A lot of people like to say, oh, and Lauren and I had this conversation today. Oh, I manifested all of this. Look at my home. Look at this. Look at that. Look at my car. Look at my job. Yes. But heaven forbid you say to them, when such and such happened, when you had that loss, when things fell apart, that was part of your manifestation as well. They can't handle that. No, the universe and God and everybody's punishing me. No, no. Nothing happens to us unless it's in our consciousness, unless we really believe something. All these weeks and months, I'm asking you, please, dive deep inside your psyche. Start asking questions. Why do I feel this way? Why do I talk about people? Why do I get angry with everybody? Why? Keep asking questions. But the answer will always be the same, because that's what you believe. You learn that from other lifetimes where those situations and occurrences were going on. Are they serving you is the question. If they're not serving you anymore, it's time to let it go. It wants to go. It wants a host that's going to express it and allow it to express. Energy wants to express itself. The universe has your back. As you're putting your thoughts and your prayers and your wishes out there, it starts to manifest it. So it's a tool, in a sense, of manifestation. But it doesn't manifest on its own. It waits for our prayers, our thoughts, our words, especially our spoken word, but we are also thinking, and that energy as well is manifesting. As we start to calm down our minds and stop it from spinning so much, and listen and be very, very cognizant of what's going on inside you, your world starts to change around you. Because there isn't just one view in front of you. It changes according to your beliefs. The state that you have entered, the state of vibration that you've entered. And once you move out of the 3, 4D energy and frequency, you start seeing a whole different life experience. It's worth the work. And it's worth everything to have the peace that passes understanding. It doesn't just happen. You can't pray it to happen because the peace has to be inside you. And then it will show itself outside you. And you'll see it reflected back at you. You are creating your life. The universe, trust it to manifest your words, your beliefs, your wishes. That is your supply. If you look at every aspect of our life, and as we move through each step and stage of our journey, if you look back and review what was and what is, you're going to see and recognize you are in such a great place. For those of you that haven't started working on yourself, I highly suggest you do. Be willing to just look at the past just long enough to say, I'm done. I don't want that energy in me anymore. And free yourself forever. Freedom is not something you get from the outside of you. Freedom comes within you. You can be in prison for life and never feel a sense that you are captive. You could feel free as if you were walking in a field, going on a journey, even if you're incarcerated. It's a state of mind, not an action. As you start to trust that the universe is working with you, you'll get a different sense of safety, of joy, of oneness. Nothing will be outside of your love. You'll come to love everything from a blade of grass to another person. For many people, it's hard for them to love people. It's so easy to love your pets because they are love and they support us, always loving us, always reflecting back the love that we may have forgotten is inside us at our most miserable times. But to be intimately involved with another human being, a dear friendship, a relation, a spouse, this is very hard because people have been in our life that we could not trust. We were made to think that everybody is just like that person that treated me so wrong when I was little. But it's not true. And when you find yourself unable to have relationships that are close and warm, start working on yourself. Ask yourself why. You'll know the answer. And then let that energy go from you. Free yourself from your past so that you can fly like an eagle, so that you can be free. We're not freeing ourselves really from another. We're freeing ourselves from false beliefs and patterns that we have developed, maybe even centuries old. Nobody outside you can heal you. You have to do that yourself. Being impeccably honest with yourself is the starting gate. We can make believe with other people we're just fine and dandy, don't have a problem in the world. But you can only do that so long with yourself. Your body will start breaking down. It won't be able to serve you anymore. Everything changes. And when you take all of this off of you, just let it out. The whole universe knows It's not like you're keeping any secrets from anybody, just the people here that are wrapped in a different body. You can make up any story you want to, and they'll believe it because they want to believe and trust. But the energy, as you develop your higher sensory system, and all of you have it actively in gear. You just have to recognize that you are using these higher senses. Then people can say things and you'll feel it in different parts of your body. And then they can't fool you. You'll know they're miserable even with a smile on their face. You'll know they're hungry or lonely or sad or broken, even if they have a smile on their face and they joke around, being the happy person, but it's only an act. If you walk around trying to make people feel better at your own expense, they're not going to feel it anyway, because it isn't real. Your intention is good, of course, but it isn't doing anything for anybody. Use the universe. Use it to manifest your deepest wishes and blessings. Ask the universe to watch over your family. Bring them all the light and energy that they need. As in the same token, create a line of communication with your higher self, that perfection that you have the potential to reach. Get used to communing with her or him. Our direct line to the prime creator and the universe. Trust and believe in yourself first. Because if you do, you'll learn to trust and believe in others. They don't have to be just like you. They don't have to do things just like you need it done. They just do it their way. And when you enter a state of consciousness where you are always feeling grateful, it won't bother you so much that they're not doing it exactly the way you wish they would, which would be doing it like you like it done. This is all for me as well. A control freak from a child on, because I had no control over my life as a child, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. And then as an adult, you have all the freedom to do whatever it is. And we find out it was me all along that was controlling myself. That was pressuring me to what? Strive for something, always competing. The only person you should compete with is yourself, always striving to do better. Athletes have that in them. They're always very competitive. It's some kind of drive inside us. I used to be an athlete, I know. But the truth came to me after years and years of being the best runner and the best this and the best that. Nobody was going to get past me in basketball. I was the best guard you ever saw, even though I was the shortest on the team. Competitive. Why? Because I always drove myself so hard. Do you drive yourself hard? Do you expect perfection all the time? Do you need to be the best? Why? The only thing that we really need to work on is being the person that loves the most, that cares the most. The heart, the sacred heart in the world. But it isn't like one that keeps giving of themselves until there's nothing left of them. That's not the way it's done. It's loving yourself enough that no matter what you do, you're doing it in great joy. You're loving the unlovable. You're healing the sick by loving them and sending prayers and blessing them. To hate someone or even dislike someone because of their behavior, it comes back to you on your judgment of yourself. Remember, they're just showing you as a part of yourself that you haven't come to love yet. And in that loving is the healing. And that frees you. The greatest gift we can give ourselves is to rest in that love, to stop judging ourselves and pushing ourselves, but find the joy in our life to do what we love to do. It isn't about making millions. It isn't about being successful and known and famous. Because for the 5 seconds that you're here in true time, it means nothing. But the people that will be remembered are the ones that can love the most, that don't push people out of the way to be first, but rather allows others to go first. In this loving act that we're speaking about, all of these things, this is how we heal. Compassion replaces the emotions, and we rest in that wonderful place. Our mind quiets down, our hearts wide open. God will not bring people to punch you in the head. God will be people to reflect the beauty that you're expressing. In the stages that we go through to get here, it is rough. We do have people that treat us bad, but it's a reflection of how bad we've treated ourselves. To truly understand oneness and how the universe works, we have to start with ourselves. And it ends with self. It's all about you and how you conduct your thoughts, your words, and your actions. But it's never a sacrifice, because then the motive's not good. Sacrificing yourself for others, that's not how it works. And it isn't even really love. So practice realizing that the universe is supporting you and your prayers, and that's where the manifestation comes through. You are the creator of the thought and word, just like in the Bible that it speaks about. It was the word made manifest. And that's still the same. practice, you will find yourself doing very well. Your world will be so beautiful and blessed. But you have to take this seriously and give it the time that it deserves. You have so much help around you, and they love you so much. Talk to them. Joke with them. Let them know how much you enjoy their company, their wisdom. All of them, each one of them actually, has a different avenue of how they'll help us. They're masters of so many things that we need. These are the days of Elijah. Everything hidden is being revealed inside us and out. Look at the chaos in the world. Eek! Can you imagine the chaos inside us? The part that we played in all this craziness when we were screaming and yelling and cursing. And now we're not. So now our job is what? To channel enough light to heal all of this, to see the Christ in everyone, to respect and honor yourself and others, and make it your daily bread. You can do it. You can make the time for it by asking for the time, because time isn't something concrete. Those of you that have the leisure of being home and the days are your own, you are very blessed and have earned it. Use your time wisely. And those that are still working, actively involved outside, maybe volunteering, whatever you're doing, continue to use your time wisely, because you can still be praying when you're at work. You can still realize that these people that you're being exposed to are a part of you. And as you love them instead of judging them, no matter where they are or who they are, you start to heal inside you. We've all experienced those lifetimes, very painful ones, but we learned a great deal. A great deal. So guess what? You already are what you wish to be. You already are, or you wouldn't wish for it. You already have all the gifts and talents. It came in with you. Start using it and believe it. Nothing is missing from the puzzle that you are. They just have to be fit into place. Know that everything that you wish for, you wouldn't even go there and wish for it if it wasn't something that was yours already. And you have to desire it in order to bring it forward. You've lived lifetimes of great divinity, and you lived lifetimes of great suffering, all for the sake of learning every aspect of life. That's your educational system. That's how you become a master. You know it all. You've experienced it all. And you've lived it all. This way, you understand life from every angle. It's like going to a corporation. Now, you want to be the CEO, but you're coming into the mailroom and you're going to start learning every aspect of the business. It's the only way to become so knowledgeable about what the company needs to work your way up from the ground floor to the CEO. In spirituality, that's what we do. The CEO is the one that masters the dimensions that we're moving through. You've done it, you forgot, and now we're remembering. Every day that we learn something about ourselves and others, we're remembering the answers to the questions, the way home to the heavenly consciousness. You're not stuck. You're not stagnating. If you find something looping over and over, it's a message to you that whatever the situation involves, it's something that you haven't come to master. It's going to repeat itself until you do master it. That's why you came, to finish up mastering 3 and 4D. 5D's waiting. It's the Christmas gift we all deserve, and we're earning. But it isn't like you can sit there and not do anything about your connection to God, your higher self, the great masters, the universe, and think that you're going to be making it into some high level heaven. You work your way there by letting go of the things that are holding us back and weighing us down. We become light as a feather. You don't lose a pound, I can assure you. But you become light as a feather, emotionally and mentally. No longer do you pick at yourself and everyone else. No longer do you have expectations. You just live your life. You smile and enjoy the day. You seek the simple pleasures, the beauty of nature. Cleaning your house and seeing how nice it looks when it's clean and orderly. Everything you can do to improve your conditions, do it. Make the effort. Nothing is more important than your spirituality. We all learned it the hard way, spending lifetimes trying to become rich and famous, spending lifetimes as a pampered pooch and not having any interest in anything but our pampering, and having lifetimes that were very hard and not even wanting to come back. All of this was your education. The school of hard knocks, my father used to call it. It's really true. But the only reason we have all these hard knocks and bumps in the road is because we picked up belief systems that weren't going to serve us long term. They served us for a while. People even take on entities. They need the big guns to protect them from this cruel world and all these mean people. No, you don't. No, you don't. You've got Archangel Michael. And he isn't an entity like that. He doesn't want to be you. He's in total service to the universe and to everybody that's here. You can trust these ones. But as you learn to trust yourself, you'll start to realize the people around you are trustworthy. If you're with people that are not, bless them until they are. And if they aren't, then you go on your way. You can bless from a distance. Just mean it when you do it. It's the most important part. Your intention is almost everything. So those of you that feel like you're really getting somewhere, you are. You truly are. And those that aren't sure if you're moving right along, put a little more time into your day in prayer. Just talk naturally to God, to your higher self. Ask for help. You shouldn't struggle. The universe wants to make it easy for you. My necklace, I have two things on it, and somehow the cross got this chain all wrapped around it, and I was like struggling with it, and I forgot. All I have to do is put it in my hand and shake it, ask the God to untangle it, drop it on the table, and it's done. I sat there, I can't tell you how long, trying to untangle this thing, and all I did was tangle it more. It was to remind me to ask, and you shall receive. When you start making this your life's work and understand that everything is happening as you believe it, if people say, I don't really believe there's angels, well, see ya. There goes your angels. Not that they don't love you, but until you acknowledge and welcome them, they'll keep at a distance. The great masters, they can't do a thing for us unless we ask them to help us. Start your day with your team around you. Even if you don't have any idea who they are, they love you. And they've been with you a long time. And some are new. Call your angels. Call God, the prime creator. I talk to him too. And talk to your higher self as if it's your best friend. That is the Christed part of you. That is our pinnacle of accomplishment in each realm that will stay with us until we become it. If only you could see, when you look in the mirror, the light around each one of you. Some of you have halos, some of you have crowns. Know that you are divine. Believe it with every ounce of your being. Say it until you believe it. Does it make you special or above anyone? No. Nope. We're all in the same boat. But it certainly is special for you to know who you really are, not this limited human being stuck in a body. This body is serving you well. So with all the love that I have in my heart, I thank you for being here today. I hope you do trust the universe, your higher self, and learn to trust people, because that is trusting yourself as well. Nothing bad, as we call it, happens to you once you have mastered whatever your fears were prior to the moment when you healed it in yourself. The universe doesn't waste energy to give you an experience you don't need. Just remember that. So when you're saying you have a bad day, I'm saying, wow, what an opportunity for growth. God bless each one of you.